Alright, welcome to the nightclub. We're going to do our Chapter 5 review today. Chapter 5 was our intro to Trig. A lot of trigonometry stuff going. So, let's make this short and sweet.
Just one chocolate.
Just one easy.
Just say
Chocolate.
chocolate.
Chocolate. I had some chocolate. It was very good. All right. On number 1 and 2, you of course have the actual directions. It says change the decimal to degrees, minutes, and seconds. Yes, you can do it on your calculator, but make sure you show me just this little work so I know you know how to do it if you didn't have a calculator. Okay. Obviously, it's going to be 71 degrees. Okay. We got to figure out the minutes and the seconds. So all you do, take your decimal part, which is 0.41. How many minutes are in 1 degree? 60. So you multiply 0.41 times 60. And what do you get? 24.6. That is your minutes. But again, I don't want the 0.6 of a minute. I want the whole minutes. So how many whole minutes do I have? 24 minutes. And then I take that 0.6. And how many seconds are in a minute? 60. So I multiply that by 60 as well. And what do you get? 0.6 times 60. 36 seconds. And that is all there is to that. Very quick, very easy. There are 33 questions on this test, but most of them are nice, quick, and easy just like that. There are a few that are kind of lengthy, but most of them are very, very simple. 33. So 2, I know it's going to be negative 267 degrees. I take the 0.02, multiply that by 60. What do you get? 1 point what? 2. So that's 1 minute. And I take the 0.2 and multiply it by 60. And what is that? 12. So 12 seconds.
So if you get a whole number, you just don't do anything?
Correct. Like for the minutes, if I got 12 minutes, I would have 0 seconds. Yeah, if it was, if it was 1 minute even, yes, correct. Okay. Another question I've gotten in the past is if my decimal, if I have a decimal on the minute or on the seconds. If you have like on the seconds, there's still a decimal, you just put the decimal. Okay. We're not going to simplify it any further down than seconds. Everybody good on 1 and 2? All right. 3 and 4, you're doing the reverse. They give you the degrees, minutes, and seconds, and they want you to write the decimal. Okay. So right now, again, I already know part of my answer is 64 point. I just got to figure out the decimal point, and they want us to round it to the nearest thousandth. Thousandth is how many decimals? 3. 3 decimal places. Okay? So, very simple to do. Take your minutes, and we do the reverse. Rather than multiplying by 60, we are going to what? Divide by 60, plus the seconds. A lot of people think you divide by 60 again, but you actually divide by 3600. Okay? Because to get the seconds, you actually multiply by 60 twice. Okay? So we got to divide by 60 twice, which is 3600. Put that in your calculator. 0.319. And add it to your 64. And you're done. Okay? Nice, quick, and easy.
I'll put that in my calculator. Doesn't come out to that.
What do you get?
No, I got 319.
Should get 0.318611. Oh. Just gotta divide that. Just type it in without the fraction.
Just
Like divide it.
put that divided by 5.
Okay. Everybody else good?
Mm-hmm.
Caden's answer was giving it to him as a fraction, so you actually have to divide those numbers to get your decimal. Okay. Number 4, again, same thing. We'll have negative 106 point, and we're going to do 1 over 60 plus 16 over 3600. And again, that's the only work you got to show.
I got
Okay.
0.021.
0.021, let me see what the 1 divided by 60 plus 16 divided by 3600. 0.021111 repeating. So it is 0, 2, 1. Okay? Any questions on how to do this? Pretty simple. Everybody good? Awesome. All right. 5, 6, and 7. We are rotating it. It's asking how many degrees would our angle have if it has 5 rotations clockwise. So here, you make a little note if you need to. Clockwise means we're going to multiply by what? Negative 360. Counterclockwise means we multiply by positive 360. Okay? So this would just be 5 times negative 360. That is negative 1800 degrees. That's all there is to do. Okay? 9.75. This time it's counterclockwise. So it's positive 360. That is 3,510 degrees. And the last one is also counterclockwise. So again, it's positive. So 6.25 times positive 360. And we get 2,250 degrees. Everybody okay with that? Okay? Again, you just got to remember, if you go counterclockwise, that's positive. If you go clockwise, that is negative. Okay? Any questions on 5, 6, or 7? Everybody good? Like I said, very, very simple, very quick and easy to do. 8, 9, and 10, it says to find the least positive angle measurement that is coterminal with the given angle. Okay? So this is our angle. They want a coterminal angle with it that's the least possible positive answer. Okay? So all we're doing is what here? Adding what? 360. Or subtracting 360, but adding 360 for all these. If we add 360 and it's still negative, we got to do what again? You just keep adding 360 until your angle is what? Positive. And then when it's positive, you're done. Okay? So thankfully on all 3 of these, it just takes one time. Okay? So if I add 360 to that, what do I get? 144 degrees. Done. If I add 360 to that one, I get 225 degrees. And if I add 360 to this one, I get 240 degrees.
If they wanted negative, you would just subtract 360 that many times?
Correct. Yeah, if they wanted, yeah, I guess it could, it's not going to, but I guess it could say what's the biggest negative coterminal angle. Okay?
We won't have that.
But no, it's going to look just like this. Okay?
This is what's
Everybody good? 1 through 10. Like I said, the first 10 should be gimmies. Okay?
Hopefully I can just get 10 now.
All right? You get 10 right, you've always made like a 30 already. All right. 11.
That's not all right.
11. They give us a right triangle, okay? And we have to find the sine of A. I don't know why I put.
I was like, wait, I didn't.
I wrote the problem wrong. Not the sine of A, sine of B, sine of C.
Isn't that what we're doing yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the sine of A, cosine of A, and tangent of A. Excuse me.
Is this Sohcahtoa?
This is definitely Sohcahtoa. Anytime they give you a right triangle, okay? Anytime they give you a right triangle, you're either going to use Sohcahtoa or you're going to use the U-Rock, excellent rock, U-excellent, okay? You use that one most of the time when they give you points. If they give you a triangle, I'm probably going to do Sohcahtoa, okay? So, I can't do everything because I'm missing my what? Hypotenuse, so I'm going to figure out what that is. Since it's the hypotenuse, I know I take my legs, I square them, and add them together. And if you put that in your calculator, it's nice and pretty. It is
Wait, we don't put
13.
When we do this, we don't put the square roots on it.
not at the beginning, no. Okay, you should end up with square root of 169 and work from there. But the square root of 169 is 13. Okay. This is a Pythagorean triple. It helps you on things like the ACT if you know your Pythagorean triples. There's a bunch of them. I know 3 of them, like right off the top of my head. 3, 4, 5 is the most basic that most everybody knows. If you double all these, you get another one. 6, 8, 10. Okay. And this is the other one I know. 5, 12, and 13. You see these on the ACT a lot, okay? And all it does is saves you time from having to figure all this out. As soon as you see 2 legs that are 5 and 12, you know the hypotenuse is going to be 13.
So
Okay.
169 didn't have like an even square root, we would just leave it the square root of 169 for the problem.
Well, you would reduce it if you could. So like say it was square root of 120. That's when you do your 2 and 60 and 2 and 30 and 2 and 15. And so you can bring out a 2. So that would be 2 square root of 30. Okay? All right? But since the review is nice and pretty, I'm pretty sure the test would be nice and pretty. Okay? So
That's for if we get something crazy.
if you get something that isn't nice, isn't a perfect square. Okay? That's what you would do. All right. So now we got the hard part done. Sine, cosine, tangent. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Correct? So which angle are we looking at? Because remember, it's always determined on the A. So we're looking from A. What is opposite A? What side? 12 over the hypotenuse is. And always reduce your fraction if you can. We can't. It's already reduced. Yes, sir. All right. Cosine is adjacent.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of.
Nope, just leave it as a fraction. 12 over 13. Okay. Cosine of A, what's adjacent to A? 5. And the hypotenuse is still 13. Can you reduce that? No. And then what tangent is opposite over adjacent? So opposite would be 12 over 5, and that also does not reduce. So we're done. Okay?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little more complicated.
That's it. That's it. We'll get to some that are a little more complicated, but that one's not too bad. All right. On the back, 2 more that are pretty simple. You just got to remember what your reciprocal identities or your reciprocal trig functions are. Okay, what is the reciprocal of cosine? Secant. So if cosine is 3/5, then the secant is 5/3. Done. Okay, no work to show. It's just knowledge. Cosecant's reciprocal is what? Is sine. So this one we got a little more work to do. My answer is 2 over the square root of 13, but they don't like leaving the answer like that, so we got to move that square root of 13 to the top and take the radical off of the bottom. 2 square root of 13 over 13. Okay? If you just flip it, I'll at least give you half credit, okay? But I want that. Sir?
Could it start off with the square root on the bottom?
It could if they give it to you that
So you
way,
just do
but
the
they
opposite.
won't.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You can show just like that. So no. Okay? Because remember, I showed you the little trick. You just,
Yeah.
this comes to, the whole thing comes to the top, and then you delete the radical. And that's it.
What
Okay.
about negative? You would move the negative. Would you move the negative?
If the whole thing was negative?
No, if the whole thing was negative, I know you just keep it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if what's negative, I'm not understanding.
No.
Like if the negative square root of 13, yeah, you can move the negative up with it. If the whole thing is negative,
You
just leave it negative, okay? If it's positive, then it'll be positive, okay? Everybody good on 12 and 13? Beautiful. All right.
So cosecant's the opposite of sine.
Reciprocal of sine, yes. Sine's reciprocal is cosecant. Cosine's reciprocal is secant. And then tangent and cotangent are easy to remember. Why they, again, don't get me upset. Why they didn't make them all easy to remember, I don't know. But they did. Anybody out there in internet land that knows why sine's reciprocal is not cosine and secant's reciprocal is not cosecant, shoot me a message. I want to talk to you. Okay.
Microsoft's going to send you
Yeah, Bill Gates, he's watching. Hey, well, you see what happened.
If Bill Gates takes you, I'd freak out.
Me too. Me too. I like to talk to him. All right. 14 and 15. We are using the unit circle. Please, okay. The one on your paper. Okay, you see that triangle that's drawn there? Okay, you don't need it. Okay, so it's just drawn there. They're just showing you that you're using the unit circle. All right, and the unit circle just means my radius is what? 1, and my center is in this at the origin. That's all the unit circle is telling you. Okay, it says find the secant of 270 degrees. So you got to know where is 270 degrees. Here is 0 degrees. This would be 90, 180, and 270. So this is where we're at, right here, that point. And you got to ask yourself, what is that point? What's its coordinates? Try again. -1, 0 is here. 0, -1. We don't go left and right any, and we go down 1. Okay? So this is x. This is y. You are forced to use the U excellent on this because you can't make a triangle with the x-axis from here. Okay? So I'm going to write them up here just real quick. Sine is y over r. U rock. Cosine is x over r. Excellent rock. Tangent is y over r. Or y over x, excuse me. U excellent. Okay? U rock. Excellent rock. U excellent. Now, we're not asked to find sine, cosine, or tangent. We're asked to find what? Secant. Secant is, we just talked about this, the reciprocal of which one of those? Cosine. So rather than doing x over r, we're going to do r over x. What is my radius if it's the unit circle? 1. What was x down here? 0. Can we divide by 0? No, so my answer is undefined. Okay?
Oh, wait. Can you say that again?
I flipped cosine, so I get r over x. Since it's the unit circle, r is 1.
Yeah.
My point is 0, -1. The first part of the point is your x.
Okay.
So it's 1 over 0, and you can't divide by 0, so it's undefined. Okay? Everybody good on 14? 15?
What? Why'd you give us the triangle? That threw me off.
I didn't give you that. That's
just the way
I
it is.
literally just went over and said, look, ignore the triangle. They're just writing it there just to show you that the radius is what? 1. That's the only reason I know they put that there. You don't need the triangle.
Okay.
Just ignore it. That's why I didn't put it on the one I drew up here.
Answer's undefined.
Your answer is undefined. Yes, sir. Where is 90 degrees? Straight up, right here. Boom. What point is that? 0, +1. You got to get, if you don't get the point right, you're going to miss it. Okay? So make sure you get your point right. All right, I'm going left and right, none, and I'm going up 1. Okay? So sine is u rock. Okay? Y over r. What is y? 1. What is r? 1. 1 divided by 1 is, my answer is 1. Okay?
You pause up. So opposite of tangent is sine.
Opposite of tangent is cotangent.
The reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. These points come from the radius. What is my radius on the unit circle? 1 for the entire thing. So that point right there, if it's an x coordinate plane, I'm going right 1 and up and down how many? None. So that point is 1, 0. This point, to get to it, I'm going from here to here. Well, the radius, again, is what? 1. So I'm going left and right, how far? None, 0. And then I go up 1. This point, r is still 1. I go left 1 and up and down how far? None. So that's -1, 0. And then down here, again, r is still 1. I go left and right, 0, and I go down 1. Okay? So those are the 4 points that you might need to use. Everybody good? All right. 16. We are still using the U rock, excellent rock, Q excellent, if you want to. Or you can draw this. Okay? If I have a little coordinate plane, right? Okay? I'm going right, how far? 2 and up 4. So I could technically go right 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Make me a dot. There's my angle. Okay? There's my angle. And I can make a what out of that angle? A triangle. And I got 2, and I got 4, and now I can do it Sohcahtoa way if I want to. Okay? That's not how these are meant to be done, though. They want you to say 2 and 4 are your point, so that's x and y, and they want you just to find r. R is the same thing as the what? The hypotenuse. So you find it the same way. R is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared every single time. Okay? So r for this problem will be the square root of 2 squared plus 4 squared. That is the square root of 20. Can you reduce 20?
Yes.
Yes. That'd be 2 and 10, and that would be 2 and 5. So we have a pair of 2's, square root of 5.
Is the R always going to be like the hypotenuse or whatever?
Correct. The r is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is your r. Okay? And so now I'm going to do sine of theta, cosine of theta, and tangent of theta. And I say it in my head. U rock, excellent rock, U excellent. And from here it's just plugging in what I know. What is y? 4. Divided by r. R is 2 square root of 5. And technically that's the answer, but I just have to simplify it. Okay, so what is 4 divided by 2? 2, so that's 2 over the square root of 5.
Wait, where'd you get 4 again?
Y.
Okay.
Okay, y is 4. R is 2 square root of 5. So I get 2 over square root of 5, which I can't leave the square root on the bottom. I move it to the top, and I take the radical off of the bottom, and there's my final answer. Okay? Cosine, same process. What is x? X is 2, right there. divided by r is still 2 square root of 5. 2 divided by 2 is, so that's 1 over the square root of 5. So that would just be square root of 5 over 5. I'll move my square root of 5 up times 1. It's itself. Divide by 5. Okay? Tangent, y over x, what's y? 4 divided by x is 2. What's 4 divided by 2? 2. So there's sine, cosine, tangent. We have to find all 6 of them now. Okay? So now I come over here, cosecant of theta, and secant of theta, and cotangent of theta. And I just get my reciprocals, which means I just flip the ones I've already got. Okay? Now, I would recommend looking closely because you want to flip the one that's easiest to flip. I don't want to flip this one right here because if I do, I'll have a square root where? On the bottom. But if I flip that one, everything will be beautiful. Okay? I'll have square root of 5 over what? 2. Done. Okay? For cosine, again, I'm going to flip that one that I got highlighted. 1 over square root of 5 flipped would just be square root of 5. Okay? And then what is 2 flipped? 1 over 2. Done.
Is that what they simplify to anyways?
That is what they simplify to anyway, yes. Everybody good on 16? Okay. Everybody see it? Is that better, Anna? All right, our next one, very similar. They give us an x and a y. Get your r. R is the negative 2 squared plus 0 squared. R will be 2.
That's what that simplifies to.
It sure does. Sine of theta. Because here the 0 just, it's 0, right? And so square root of 4 is basically, square root of 4 is 2. All right? It will be a pretty. Why is it 4? Because negative 2 times negative 2 is 4.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll
Tangent of theta. In our best crush voice, you rock. Excellent rock. You excellent. You totally rock, Squirt. Offspring, Jellyman. Jellyman, offspring. All right. What is y?
1.
Y is what?
0.
0. R is 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. That's important. Make sure you put it equals 0, okay? Don't leave your answer 0 over 2, okay? 0 divided by 2 is 0. How about x? What is x?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Again, make sure you don't leave your answer as negative 2 over 2. Technically, that's right, but what is negative 2 over 2? It's negative 1. And then tangent y over x, so y again is 0. X is negative 2. 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. All right? And then we flip them. So cosecant of theta, secant of theta, and cotangent of theta. If you flip 0, you get what? Undefined. Because if you're flipping 0, the 0 ends up being where? In the denominator, and you can't divide by 0. Okay? What happens if you flip negative 1? You get negative 1. And what happens if you flip 0 one more time? Undefined. Okay?
What does that mean when there's so many undefined like that?
That just means they're not defined there. Like it's not a a real thing. Yes.
Because it's like -2, 0, couldn't you just, like, an easier way of finding it is just like, because it's 0, that would just be 2 as the radius thing?
Yeah, radius is 2.
Like, couldn't you just, like, not do the whole?
You could.
thing?
So you could use, yes. I see. You're asking, can you use common sense? Yes. If I were drawing this, okay, I'd go 1, 2, all right, and so my circle looks like that, and obviously my radius is what? 2. Yes, you could have done that. Okay. Everybody good on 17? All right, we're rocking right along.
You use the law of sines on the right.
You can, but why? It's not easier. Don't say that. Okay. 18 and 19. He asked, can you use law of sines on a right triangle? You can, but don't. Okay, you're making your life hard. All right. They give us C, little c, is 30.3, and I would recommend you filling out on your paper the triangle. It just helps you to see it. Okay. Oh, we finding B, not A? Oh, my bad. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Find a little bit.
Thank you very much. All right. Angle B is 46 degrees.
46 plus 90.
And so I'm looking for side B there. So figure out which sine function or trig function you want to use. B is what to 46? Opposite. 30.3 is the hypotenuse. What uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So it's just the sine of 43 degrees equals the opposite side, which is B, over the hypotenuse, which is, what did I say, 43? I can't talk today. The sine of 46. Thank you very much. Keeping me straight as usual. All right. Sine of 46 equals B over 30.3. And then what do? One step. We do not flip it. We multiply by 30.3. Those cancel. It says to round to the nearest what? 10th, right? So what is that rounded to the nearest 10th? 21.8.
Isn't it sine? Not all sines, it's just in your calculator you put in as like.
You would do 30.3 sine 46.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh yeah, because okay. I thought that was just me.
Everybody good on 18? Yes, ma'am. Yes. 19. That's it? Yeah. You're not solving the whole thing. You're just finding B. Okay? Let me fix that a little better because that's just bothering me.
Oh, I'm going for a whole 13.
All right. On 19, make sure I have it correct. Everybody good there? I'm going to fill out what I know. I know little b right here is 14.3. Angle B is 13 degrees 9 minutes. And I'm looking for side A. So here's the angle. You got to know what angle you're dealing with to know what's opposite and adjacent. Okay? So what sides did they give me?
Hypotenuse.
Did not give me the hypotenuse. They gave me the opposite, and I'm looking for the adjacent. So what uses opposite and adjacent? Tangent. So tangent of 13 degrees 9 minutes. Everybody's clear how to put the degree and the minute sign in your calculator? Okay. Second apps, they're 1 and 2 right there. Okay. That's going to equal, opposite is 14.3 over adjacent is A. What do I do with the A and the tangent of 13 degrees 9 minutes? I just replace them with each other. Okay. I switch them. So A is 14.3 divided by tangent of 13 degrees 9 minutes. You should get, if you put that in your calculator, 61.2. Everybody good?
Oh, no, wait.
I am awake.
Would you count it wrong if we did the 2 signs instead of
No, I'm not, because I forget myself to do the squigglies. That's not a make
Isn't
or
that
break
just
thing.
saying that's an angle or something like that?
All that's saying is it's an approximation. All it means is you rounded.
We don't
Okay.
have to do that, do we?
No.
So I can't do a squiggle.
It is not a degree because it's not an angle.
Looks like I'm
It's a
drawing
side.
lines.
Okay? Only angles you need to put degrees on.
Okay,
20 and 21. All right. These require a little brain power. After, the first thing you do doesn't require much brain power. It's your calculator work. Okay?
Yeah.
So, from 0 to 360. Okay? I want to say this one more time. From 0 to 360, that means the most possible answers one can have is 3. Okay? The least is 1. Those are the two, like, you know, you don't get those often. Okay? When it's just one answer and when it's 3 answers.
You get 2 answers.
Most of the time, you will get 2 answers. Okay? Now, the way you'll know when you get those answers that are, you know, either 1 or 3, okay? If your angle that you get, what's up? Guess you heard that.
Yeah.
If when you get one of your answers, they are one of these angles that are on an axis, in other words, you get 0 or 90 or 180 or 270, those are the angles that might have 3 answers or 1 answer. Okay? If it's just a regular old angle, not one of these 4, you should just have 2 answers. Everybody with me? Okay? So, I get my first answer by doing the what of sign? Inverse sign. So, in my calculator, I'm going to hit second sign, which is the inverse sign of negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Sometimes on the state test or algebra, the ACT, they'll say arc sign. But I want you to understand, arc sign is the same thing as inverse sign. Okay, so if you ever see that, you know that that's what you're doing. Okay? What does it give you when you put that in? Negative 45 degrees. Okay. That is my reference angle. Right there. But it's not between what? 0 and 360. So I can get one answer by just doing what to that? Adding 360. Okay? That will be my first answer. So, negative 45 plus 360 is 315 degrees. There's one answer.
Wait, why are we adding 360?
Because my answer was not between 0 and 360.
Okay.
Okay? So I have to get a coterminal angle like we did earlier on those easy problems where we just added 360 to get a positive. That's all I'm doing there. Okay? So there's one answer. It's in quadrant what? 4. It's in quadrant 4. It's down here. Okay, right? Negative 45 degrees would be there, and so we went around that way to get to 315. Okay? There's one more quadrant where sine is negative. Okay? All star trig class. Here and here, sine is what? Positive. So that means the 2 on the bottom, sine must be what? Negative. So what is a 45 degree angle? We've already got the one in quadrant 4. What's the 45 degree angle in quadrant 3? 225. Because 180 plus 45 is 225. Okay?
So you're pretty much just gonna add the 180.
That's it. It's really common sense because from here to here is what? 180, and I go how much more? 45 more. Does that make sense? Okay? So 180 plus 45 gives me the other angle. Okay?
So why did you do that? I got 315.
Because I have to get all the angles between 0 and 360 that have a sine of negative square root of 2 over 2.
But it's not positive because it's in the third quadrant, right?
Correct. Neither is this.
Okay.
The sign itself is not positive.
Okay.
Okay? The great thing about these answers is you can check them and make sure they're right. So if I wanted to check them, I'm going to type in first, I know my answer needs to be negative square root of 2 divided by 2. So I'm going to get that decimal, okay? And then I say, all right, sine of the first answer we got was 315, correct? Is the sine of 315 the same thing? Yes. Are those equal decimals? Yes. The other answer I got was 225. Same thing. If they're the same thing, that means I have to be right. Okay?
Oh, I did that. I messed up on mine.
When you put this in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get out of the square root, I bet. Did you? Yeah, make sure you get out of the square root or it's going to put the entire thing under the square root. Okay? Everybody understand how you can check them real quick? Make sure they're right? Okay? All right. 21, same problem. Our first answer is just going to be the inverse cosine of negative 1/2. What is that? That is 120. That is between 0 and 360, so that's one of my answers, okay? I'm going to draw this over here. What quadrant would 120 be in? It's in quadrant 2, okay? So there's 120 degrees. What do I need to find from that? What's it called? Starts with an R. Not radius. What'd you say? Reference angle. What would my reference angle be? 60. 60 degrees right there. Okay? So, cosine here is what? Negative. So I'm got all star trig class. Where is cosine negative? What quadrants?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. We've already got the one in quadrant 2, right? It was what? 120. So I need a 60-degree angle in quadrant 3. What would a 60-degree angle in quadrant 3 be? 240. 180 plus 60 is 240. And again, if you wanted to check it real quick, just type in cosine of 120. I'm sorry?
How is it negative and S?
Because the only one that's positive in quadrant 2 is what? Sine. That's what the letters are representing. Sine is positive in quadrant 2. Tangent is positive in quadrant 3. Cosine is positive in quadrant 4.
And they're all positive.
They're all positive in quadrant 1. If it ain't positive, it's negative. You got me? Okay? So, sine is positive in quadrant 2, but cosine and tangent got to be negative. Okay? Tangent's positive in quadrant 3, but sine and cosine's got to be negative. Cosine's positive in quadrant 4, but sine and tangent have to be negative. Okay? All right. 22. What are we doing here on 22? It says to... Hey, we're on the last page. Almost on the last page. Solve each problem round to the nearest 10. So we're finding S. Again, we're not solving the whole thing. We're just finding S. So we're doing the same thing we were doing a minute ago. What sides do I have? Opposite and hypotenuse. So write it down if you need to and look at it. Sohcahtoa, what uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So the sine of S equals 23.6 divided by the hypotenuse is 27.5. How do I get rid of sine again? Inverse sine of 23.6 over 27.5. And again, you are rounding to the nearest tenth.
How do you do the inverse of sine?
It's secant sine. The blue button, sine. Okay? You should get, for 22, is A, which is 59.1 degrees. Okay? Everybody good there? 23 is the same way, you just don't have choices. It's not multiple choice. You have to actually give me the angle. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Hey, Coach, not do we play Thursday next week, or are we gonna play Fridays? Like, are we starting to play Fridays?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I go week to week. Don't ask me about next week yet. Saturday, you can ask me about next week. I probably know it then. All right. Here, they give me 14.4, and they tell me S is 5, and I'm looking for R. So what sides do I have in reference to R? Opposite and adjacent, which is tangent. So tangent of R equals 14.4 is opposite R, and 5 is adjacent to R. And then you do the inverse tangent of 14.4 over 5. How much? 70.9, and this is an angle, so I need to remember to put the degree sign.
Yes.
Okay?
All right, that's all I need.
Everybody good? All right. 24. Oh. Probably the most important thing on 24, it says in what?
Right.
In a right triangle, B equals 11, A equals 18. Okay? So, if you notice, they don't have a triangle for you here. I would recommend drawing a triangle. Okay? It says it's called triangle ABC. It tells you that angle C is the what? Right angle. It tells you that in the directions. When you're drawing A and B, listen to me carefully. It does not matter which angle you let be A or B. Okay? You can let the top one be A and the bottom one be B, or switch them. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now, when you label them, this is what matters. Little a is always opposite what? Big A. So here's the A. Little b is always opposite big B. And little c is always opposite big C. And now let's plug in what we know. We got 11 for A, and we've got, or for B, and we've got 18 for A. And now we're solving the triangle. All right? The first thing I would find is what? C. Hypotenuse. 11 squared plus 18 squared. Now, the great thing about this is the directions say to round. So if that's the case, I can just put that whole thing in my calculator and take the square root and get the nearest tenth. Okay? So that should be 21.1. Okay? We also need angle A and angle B. We're going to use the same trig function for both. Okay? If I'm doing A, what sides do I know? Opposite and adjacent. So I'm going to do tangent of A equals, what is opposite A? 18 over the adjacent is 11. A is the inverse tangent of 18 over 11. You could, but again, it's a lot quicker to do that. All right? So, what is the inverse tangent of 18 over 11? Say it again. 58.6 is correct. Again, since it's a degree, you need to make sure you put degrees. Okay? How can I get angle B? Just subtract 58.6 from 90. Okay? 90 minus 58.6 would be 31.4 degrees. Okay?
1 second.
All right, 25 is also a what? Very important. I'm going to draw some right triangle. Again, the only one that really matters is C It tells you that C is 90 degrees, so make sure you let C be 90 degrees. You can let A and B be whichever other angle you want them to be, okay? It tells me that A is 78 degrees, little c is 82, and I want to solve the triangle, okay? So again, solve the triangle just means find all what? All the missing parts, okay? So I'm missing angle B, I'm missing side A, and I'm missing side B, excuse me. Okay? What's the easiest to find first?
Angle.
The angle. Again, if there's 90 degrees here, these two got to add up to 90. So angle B is just going to be 90 minus 78. That is 12 degrees. Okay? Next, you want to find A or B first? A. Sounds good to me. A is what compared to 78, the angle they gave us? It is opposite, and they gave us the hypotenuse. So what uses opposite and hypotenuse? Sine. So the sine of 78 equals opposite is A over adjacent, or excuse me, over the hypotenuse is 82. And you just multiply by 82 on both sides. So A rounded would be 80.2. Is that what y'all are getting? And then we do the same thing, but now we're looking for B. B is what to 78? Adjacent. So now we're doing adjacent and hypotenuse. So what uses adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So same setup, cosine of 78 this time though, okay? Equals B over 82. And we multiply both sides by 82. That should be about rounded 17.0 according to the answers, but always double check their answers. Is that what you got? 17, okay? She was just daydreaming though.
Geometry didn't actually exist, it was all just a dream.
She didn't have pencil. I had her.
Oh.
She was in our class for like 2 days. Yeah.
Everybody good on 25? All right, 26. Same type question, except what did they not specify? It's not a right triangle, okay? Now, they didn't say it wasn't. They just said they didn't say it was. So if they don't say it's a right triangle, you can't assume it is. Everybody with me? Okay? So this one is not a right triangle, which means when they're not right triangles, we have two options. Law of what? Sines or law of cosines. We got to use one or the other. Okay? To know which one you use, you look at the information they give you. If you have the same letter twice, you know you're going to use what? Law of sines. Okay? Again, law of sines, A over sine of A equals B over sine of B equals C over sine of C. You definitely need to know that by today, hopefully. You know that. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Again, easiest one to find first is our what? Angle. They give us two angles. Anytime they give you two angles, they might as well have given you three. Okay? C is going to equal. Can we just do 90 minus this time? Nope, because it's not a right triangle. We got to do 180. Minus 45 minus 40. That would be 180 minus 85 is 95 degrees, right? 26, yes, 95 degrees. So we are 1/3 of the way finished. Okay? What would you like to find next?
Why would you put 47?
Why wouldn't I put
Oh, never
40?
mind. It's not a side.
Sorry?
It's not an angle. It's not an angle.
What's not an angle?
B.
No, that's a side. That's just what kind of letter.
That's why you know.
Lowercase letters are sides. Uppercase letters are angles. I also know these are angles because they have the little degree symbols. Okay? So, now we just need lowercase what? A and lowercase c. Alright? So, I'll just do A first. A over the sine of, what is angle A?
45.
45 equals, what's the one we know both of? B. So 74 over the sine of 40. And you literally just take your sine of 45 and move it to the top over there behind the 74 and put it in your calculator. 74 sine of 45. Make sure you put parentheses after the 45, okay? If you don't, it will give you the wrong answer. 74 sine of 45, close your parentheses, divided by sine of 40. 81.4 is what I got as well.
So is the only reason you put 74 is because it's also a lowercase letter?
Correct. It's a side. And again, you can write it side over sine of angles, or you can do sine of angles over the side. But whichever way you do, you got to do it on both. Okay? Both sides. All right? To get C, I do exactly the same thing I did here on the right side. It's still going to equal 74 over sine of 40. But on the left side, now I'm finding C. So C over the sine of C. What was C? 95? And now I move that over just like I just did. So if you want a quick calculator trick, okay, you're typing exactly the same thing into your calculator, except this time on top it's sine of what? 95. So if you hit second and enter on your calculator, it will bring up what you just put in, and you can change that 45 to a 95, and it's a lot quicker, okay? You get quite a large number, 114.7. And that's it. Okay? Any questions on 26?
So you'd put C equals 114. Oh, you put all of them.
27, same type problem. It even gave us the same information, just different numbers. Okay, so you work it exactly the same. I'm going to find what first? C, angle C would be 180 minus 42 minus 59. That is, let's see here, that'd be 90, no, 10, is that 101?
79.
So 180 minus 101, 79 degrees. Again, we know B and B, so that's what we're going to set everything equal to. So A, little a, over the sine of 42 equals little b, which is 76, over sine of big B, which is 59. And you just move your denominator on the left over to the numerator on the right and type that into your calculator. 76 sine of 42 divided by the sine of 59. What'd y'all get? 59.3 is what I got as well. Notice I'm not putting a degree symbol because it's not an angle, right? Okay? We're not finding angles right now. To get little c, same process, just different numbers. C over the sine of angle C is 79 degrees equals, same thing, 76 over sine of 59. move the denominator on the left up to the numerator on the right and type it into your calculator. I got 87.0. Am I rounding wrong? Does it say 2 places? Okay. Huh. It says round nearest tenth. No, it actually doesn't say what to round to. So on your answers, they rounded to the 100th place, but we'll do 10th because that's what we were doing the whole rest of the test. Okay. All right. Everybody good on 27? And 26, same thing. We take a little break from hard stuff and go to some easy stuff. 28 and 29, we are finding area. These are the ones where you just have to write them down and put them in your calculator. Okay. This is the one where you have to know how many sides did they give me? 2. And how many angles? 1 angle. So that's the one where we do K equals 1/2 the 2 sides they give me, which is BC, times the sine of the angle that they gave me. Okay? Yes, you need to have that memorized. Not necessarily this exact one, but just know it's 1/2 the 2 sides times the sine of the angle. Okay? So it's just plugging in. What is B? 9 feet. C is 5 feet. And the sine of A is 32 degrees. Put all that in your calculator, and it should tell you that that is 11.9 square feet. Okay? Any questions? Very good. 29, same exact thing. So if you get 28 right, you should definitely get 29 right. They give you the same letters and everything. So K is just going to be 1/2 my 2 sides, which are 6 feet and 5 feet, times the sine of 143 degrees. That equals,
13.5. Okay.
should be 9. 9 square feet.
I got 13.5.
That's it.
Yeah, close enough time.
You multiply by 9 instead of 6. 6. 6. Everybody good? Just a few more. 4 more. 30. What did they not tell me about the triangle? They did not tell me it's a right triangle. All they said was, hey, we got one side, B is 9, C is 3, A is 34 degrees, or angle A is 34 degrees. We need to find side A. Okay? Have y'all noticed, what am I not doing when it's not a right triangle? Have y'all noticed? I don't waste time drawing a triangle. Okay? Because I'm not doing Sohcahtoa, so it really doesn't matter, opposite, adjacent, all that stuff. Okay? I just let my formulas take over. All right? I made these. I gave you easy ones. Aren't you happy? Y'all don't look happy. You should be very happy. Okay? Because I made this really easy. I'm looking for what? Hey, so do I do law of sines or law of cosines? Do I have the same letter twice? No. So I got to do law of cosines. And so you have to remember, it's like the Pythagorean theorem, okay? It's not the Pythagorean theorem. Don't think I'm saying that. It's just very similar to it. So I'm looking for A, so that's going to be A squared equals b squared plus c squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem part. Okay? What do I put after that? Minus 2. Whatever two letters I used here, I use them again. And then the cosine, because it's the law of cosine of A. The first letter and the last letter have to match on the law of cosines. Okay? And from there, it's just plugging in. A squared equals B is 9 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times 9 times 3 times the cosine of A, which is 34 degrees. How do I get just A? What do I take?
The square root of that.
Square root of that entire thing. That's all the work I need to see. Okay? From there, your calculator is in the driver's seat. All right? Put that in your calculator. You should get 6.7. If you don't, let me know, and we'll figure out why you didn't. All right. Everybody good? 31. Same process. They even give me the same stuff and ask me to find the same thing. So all I'm doing is plugging in different numbers. Okay? A squared is going to be 10 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 10 times 6 times the cosine of 30 degrees. Take the square root of all of that. A is how much? 5.7. Apparently. Okay.
Put 5.6 when I find it wrong.
Everybody good? Sure.
If I would put 5.6, but I got it wrong.
Maybe a point off. What comes after that? 6.
6.
See, it should be like 7. Everybody good?
But say there's like 7 numbers after that equals 6, and then it goes 4, 4, 4. No, it goes 4, then like a bunch of 9s. Do we care about past stuff?
5.6499, like that?
Yeah.
If you're rounding to the 10th place, the only spot you care about is that one.
Yeah, but it gets rounded.
No, it doesn't. I'm not rounding this number. I'm rounding what? 6. 4 is less than 5, so it stays 5.6. You got me? Okay? You don't, it's not like you round that number to get that number, and then you round that one to round that one. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? Now, it works that way if it's 5.49999, okay? And now you're rounding it to the nearest hundredth, okay? Well, now hundredth is here, right? So I look at this one. It has to go what? Up. Well, it has to go up to a what, though? A 10. Okay, so now that 1, now the 4 also has to come what? Up. Because I'm not actually rounding the 9 anymore. I'm actually rounding 49 up. 49 up 1 is 50. Is that making sense? Okay? All right, the last 2. You're finding area. Okay? What did they give me to find the area? All 3 sides. Okay, so I need to find what they call an S, which is half of the perimeter. Okay? S is 1/2. How do you find the perimeter?
Add them all up.
Add them all up. 12 plus 10 plus 9. Half of that would be what? Let's see. That's 22 plus 9. 31 divided by 2 is 15.5. And then you take that number and you can find the area. So the area will be the square root of that number, 15.5, times that number minus all of your sides. Okay, so 15.5 minus 12 times 15.5 minus 10 times 15.5 minus 9. So you write your S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. Okay, I'll write it up here just so you can see it. Anybody remember what this formula is called?
Heroes formula.
Heroes formula. I don't know why it's called Heroes formula, but it is.
Probably some guy named Hero.
Probably. You plug all that in, you should get 44 square units. 44.0. Okay? And then you do the same thing on 33. Okay? Find S. Everybody got 31
Not yet.
or 32? 33. Same process. We find S first. S is going to be 1/2. 12.1 plus 6.6 plus 15.4. I'm going to need your help on that one. Do y'all know what that is? 17.05. Okay. And then plug it into the Heroes formula. 17.05 times 17.05 minus 12.1 times 17.05 minus 6.6 times 17.05 minus 15.4. It says it's 38.1. Is that right? Units squared. Okay. Thank you for watching. Hope this has been beneficial. See you next time, and as always, stay above that line.